I'm Cassandra. In today's class, we're going to go through a few of the meditation techniques. It's about finding out which meditation is right for you. For ourselves personally, we like all of them. Many people think that Transcendental Meditation is the only one that's available to them, and that's simply not true. Or the Mindfulness Meditation. There are movement meditations, there's focused meditations, guided meditations, mantra, invocation meditations. There's so many options available to you for you to find that space, that center, and to go within. And that's what it's going to be about today. So let us start off with, I'm going to call the most popular because we do it on our website and we do it on our YouTube channel, and that is the guided meditation. It's very simple. Guided meditations are simply something about a focused type of meditation led by someone other than yourself, and can include a multitude of techniques. It's whatever it is we're guiding you to do. So it can include the focus, it can include movement, it can include visualizations, mantras, affirmations. It's about getting comfortable with you inside, and that's why we do the guided meditations. And we do a variety of different types for those who are listening. Now, this is all about your spiritual development. When we came forth to do everything that we do, our main intention when we had this idea to start Divine Energy Healing was that we had had this amazing, profound shift in our energy and our consciousness. Not just about the awakening that happened, which brought us back home to our truth, but it was also about how comfortable we were, how supported we were, that connection to the divine self and that true divine wisdom. That was truly the miraculous medicine of my human experience. And we felt so good. We wanted to share it with the world. We thought every human being must reconnect with the true self, that divine self, that inner wisdom, that inner sense of knowing, that trusting. Because you'll never feel alone ever again. And you'll always feel like you belong. You know you're right to be here. So there is a method of finding that space within you, and one of the most popular ways is through meditation. It's not just about finding that peace and that tranquility, alleviating stress and anxiety, which it also does. It can lower blood pressure. It can release the positive endorphins. It's also about finding a space for you to reconnect with your truth and to allow that truth, to that connection to flow, the continual flow. For us, the opening to the true self and allowing that true self to truly guide us is everything. And we would hope or intend that for each of you, if that is in fact your reason for being here, if that is in fact you're here to master the human self or to have the best human experience possible. So, in guided meditation, the key to whether you're practicing a method is that you'll be able to practice it by yourself. Listening to any guided meditation, relaxed at home, to help keep you focused, to help keep you in that moment, to give you something to think about, and to just let it go. Plus, there's about how much time do you have to spend in it. I know so many people do recommend that how does that go? How many years have you been on the earth? That's how long you should spend in meditation. Well, the older you get, that means it's a really long time. So we don't follow that philosophy. There are times when we can sit and go into a meditation and lose ourselves completely, and an hour can pass. When we were doing a very ritual spiritual meditation, we could meditate for almost 8 hours a day. That's not really where we're at now. Right now, it's about meditating comfortably 15 minutes. However, if you find yourself really busy and 15 minutes seems like too much, 5 minutes at least 5 minutes to get that connection, 5 minutes to shift that energy, 5 minutes. That's all it requires. But every single day, do it every single day. Now, and you can also do it in 5-minute increments a few times a day. How about in the morning, and how about at night? So now when we get into the most popular, which is mindfulness meditation, the whole idea of this one is that it's a combination of concentration and awareness, and being very contemplative in that. So it can be the focus of an object. It can be a focus of the breath. We love that one, the focus of the breath. Focusing on the body sensation, the thoughts, the feelings, the sounds. Sounds also within your body. And we'll just mention this because it's going to go into another practice. How about the sound of your heart beating? So as we go into this focus, it's not as narrow as a concentrative meditation where you have a really focused point on that concentrative meditation. This one allows for a little more awareness of other phenomenon, letting your mind be fluid, letting your mind flow. And you can go from one thought to the next. You can go from all those things I mentioned to go from one to the next, to the next. Or to not focus on any particular thing, literally allowing that mind to flow to your surrounding, to your environment, to within, to your thoughts. Mindfulness is a type of ongoing meditation that can be a part of life, because you can do it while you're out walking. You can do it also while you're driving. Just always be mindful that you are driving. You can do it while you're doing housework. You can even do it while you're eating. And we are very mindful now when we eat. So this has become very typical now in Western society. And it's really easy. It's not complicated. It's not hard. And the great goal of any of these, as you practice them and you get more comfortable with them, is that eventually you will find that space in between. And that is where the time no longer exists. And when you reach that gap, that space, that's the divine expansion. That's ultimately the goal. And for us, with all meditations, all types of meditations, it has occurred. So this is about changing perception, expanding that perception, bringing in clarity. And the whole unification within you also helps bring unification with everything that is around you, including the development of equanimity. So it's aside from the fact of being a great way to address stress and or I'm going to call it like a mental muscle. So how you go to the gym to work out your body so that way your body has more strength to do things. Mindfulness meditation is really a great way to improve your mental skill and then your ability to deal with everything, including reactions, because you are so mindfulness that practice now has become a part of everything in life, where you're able to look at it, pause, not react, actually process it in your awareness, even see from a higher perspective. So highly recommended. Now let's think about the focused or concentrative meditation. It's like an umbrella for any kind of meditation that includes a focus aspect and anything on the 5 senses. Through the visualization is obviously the most popular, but I mean, you can light a candle in front of you and literally focus on that candle. You can write something down, or even just a word, and focus on that. You don't even have to write it. You can visualize the word, visualize the intent, and really focus on that. A flower. You can have a mantra or a chant. And you'll see how these types of meditations, they'll include in other types of meditational practices as well. A gentle song, a gong, a bell, singing bowls, music. By the way, the sounds can also come from you. And that's also another type of focus when we're doing sound and mantra therapy or tones, chanting. The key here is to focus on one thing. So whereas mindfulness can allow your mind to flow, this one is concentrative, which means it is a particular focus. And that really helps your mind to train. Our mind used to be so noisy, so busy, that if someone had asked us, what are you thinking about? And it's like, in what moment? In what second? In what split second? In what hair of a second? Because our thoughts are going to, in one moment, there'd be 3 thoughts in our head. If you give us a few seconds, there might be 10 thoughts that we're now going to be able to share with you. Our mind doesn't do that now. If someone asks me what I am thinking, depending on how I'm feeling, it could just be, oh, I'm in the gap, I'm in the space. What does that mean? It means I'm literally not thinking of anything. My mind is quiet, I'm still. Or it can be, I'm not thinking of anything, I'm listening. And so if you're walking by the sea, I'm listening to the waves. I'm sitting on my terrace, I'm listening to the birds. I'm not thinking of anything. It's just listening. You can be watching a bird. Oh, you can watch ants. I love watching ants and just watching them work. And someone could say, what are you thinking? Well, if I do have thoughts about it, it's how impressive these are, how strong they are, what diligent hard workers they are, and how well the collective colony works together. It's fascinating. These can be the thoughts, but you understand how it becomes extremely focused, that concentrative thought process, and other thoughts don't come in. Other thoughts don't enter that. They're not being processed. There might be something that comes in. So for example, noise is in your environment, but it's going to go right back out. So with this, using our mind, using this concentrative focused meditation, you will feel for me, you feel very rejuvenated afterwards and accomplished because you've done it. In our day-to-day lives, because our mind can be in so many places at once, this is about bringing us back into one thing. Now, it doesn't mean that every part of your life is now going to be that focused. It just means it's going to bring it together to allow for that focus now considerably more. It's going to be considerably easier. Now, let's go into probably the most well-known and researched meditation, which is Transcendental. And the whole idea of this type of meditation is the physical benefits and the mental benefits related to meditation. This is where they've been mostly studied. So you sit with your back nice and straight, and ideally in the lotus or half lotus position. And you can use a mantra or a sacred word that's repeated over and over and over again. There are more advanced levels that go into this. Now the focusing on the breath, the changing of the breath, different methods of breathing. And again, that one changes too, especially when we go into Kundalini type meditations and or the yin and yang meditation. So the idea of transcendental, as you're focusing on the breath, you're becoming into this changing one's state of being. It often leads to leaving the body, and that's the one that so many people talk about. And indeed, it's probably the aim of the practice. It's the aim of it to leave that body. And we have had some amazing experiences doing transcendental meditation. And well, it can be problematic. Some people think it's problematic. For us, that's the whole idea, isn't it? For me, so long as you're always setting the intention that your energy of the body and the mind are always in sync, in tune, in harmony, so that they're not disrupted, you're all right. The practice is not really focused on your life purpose. It's more of a philosophy. And, you know, it doesn't bring any harm to you. It helps with ego, helps with over the world in general. So just allowing that. Now, let's go into a mantra meditation perhaps next. Something that allows you to use sound or a set of sounds, including whether you're listening to them or you're vocalizing them, you're verbalizing them yourself, and to do it repeatedly. Most popular meditations, they repeat 108 times for the mantra meditations to allow that repetition to go through. And it might seem like a contradiction that you're making noise while you're trying to meditate. No, it's not. This will also help you stay extremely focused. So meditation, remember, doesn't equal silence. So you're all right. And the mantras, I mean, my goodness, mantras, chanting, humming, they have been around for thousands of years in how many cultures? So we can consider this an ancient spiritual practice. And you can say them in your head or you can say them out loud, and just to repeating the mantra. You can do something as simple as Om, and whatever it is you're comfortable with. You can go into a lot of Sanskrit mantras like Om Shanti, 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 which is just an invocation for peace. The Om Mani Padme Om, which is, my goodness, I don't know if it's Chinese. But that one's about healing in the body. So as you take these ones into you and just repeating, obviously if you're going to use one, let's say you don't know what language it comes from, but you know what the meaning is, that's okay. Go ahead and use it. So as you are doing this, the sounds or the words, because they also have resonance, they also have a frequency, they also have meaning on a higher dimensional level, not just on the three-dimensional level. But because they do have extreme meaning on a three-dimensional level, words have power. Hence the power of your words and why it's so important, the words that you're using. And you can choose like how complicated it's going to be, how easy it's going to be, because as you are basically removing the obstacles, repeating in the mantra meditation in this repetitive form, it's really up to you how simple or how complicated you want it to be, but it's hard to get distracted. Now, it's true, you might lose a moment, but once you do that, like if you just all of a sudden stop and you forget where you were, it's like, oh, and then continue. That's actually a good thing. That means that if it could be an outside distraction, that's a bit different. But I found in mantra meditations, as I've been repeating, and as you're getting into that space, that chanting quietly, and I'm just drawing in these words, and you can make them like a song, and you're getting them in your head, and you're maintaining that outer silence because you're so into what it is that you're doing, bringing about whatever your intention is, like the peace, the love, the happiness, the healing. And as you are going through this process, all of a sudden you can just find the gap. And that means that you'll stop. And you might lose space and time and come back from that. So that's for the mantras. We thank you so much for being with us today. And we send you many blessings of the light. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time.